Hey, everybody, welcome to Breakfast All Day. Christy and Alonso. Premiering today on Netflix is a new animated film from Sony Pictures, and it's got a lot of Lin-Manuel Miranda on it. It's called Vivo.
It is animated. It's adorable. Vivo is a furry and big-eyed and perky little kinkajou who performs in a plaza in Havana with the sweet elderly musician who is his human companion. And he's voiced by Juan DeMarco's legendary musician from Buena Vista Social Club. And they've got a really nice thing going, and they have an appreciative crowd and a nice quiet life in their little insular square, and they know what they're doing. But the older gentleman, Andres, is still pining for the one who got away. She is Marta Sandoval, voiced by Gloria Estefan, who took off decades earlier for stardom in the United States. They had been performing partners together for years, and she took off, and they've never seen one another since. But he gets the opportunity to reunite with her for one last song when she does her farewell concert in Miami. And so Vivo and Andres have to figure out a way to get to Miami. Something happens, and Vivo has to bring the song that Andres wrote to her. It's a whole long spiel, a journey through the swamps that he takes with a sweet girl named Gabby, voiced by, and I do not want to say her name wrong, Ynairaly Simo. It's her first film. All right. She's this perky, purple-haired tween misfit, and they go on a trip together through the swamps from Key West to get to Miami. And when it is in Cuba, and again, Lin-Manuel Miranda is the voice of this sweet little creature, and he wrote the songs, and it's very much his ethos. You know, if you liked Hamilton and you liked In the Heights, it's the cadence of his rhythms, and it's the clever wordplay. If you like him, you'll enjoy the songs. When it's in Cuba, it's very rich in its sense of place, and there's a warmth to it, and a grace and a tenderness. There's some quite beautiful imagery of like streaky, misty morning sunlight coming through slats of a window into this little apartment, things like that. But then it becomes like a wacky action adventure road trip with all kinds of talking animals, and it like completely slows down whatever momentum there was, whatever gentle decency there was, and it becomes like a totally different kind of movie, seemingly to placate young kids for whom, you know, a sweet, tender romantic comedy might have seemed boring. I don't know. It loses its way on the way to Miami.
This movie, okay, I will say this as a caveat. I maybe shouldn't have watched it right after watching Annette.
Two very different musicals.
Those are maybe it did not benefit from the comparison. I feel like I've gotten a lot of Lin-Manuel Miranda lately. Yeah. Between Hamilton and In the Heights in the last year. It's like I'm not a giant fan of his methods, and particularly of his performance of his own songs. And so there's a lot of that to deal with here. And then all the wacky chase stuff just feels like it comes like the first part of the movie in Cuba feels so sort of lived and experienced, even though you've got a talking kinkajou. It was more like something like Chico and Rita, you know. But then when they get to Florida, it just becomes like every other dumb kids movie. The girl, I'm not blaming the actress, but the way the character is written is so obnoxious. her like big solo declarative number of who she is, I was just like, oh my God,
I hate that song.
I can't stand it. And here's the thing, I love movies about like weirdo outsider young girls who want to form rock bands. You know, that's one of my favorite genres. We're the best, you know, Ladies and Gentlemen, the Fabulous Stains, you know,
Josie
I love
the
Pussycats, even Gem and the Holograms. I love movies like that. And this girl just was like on my last nerve very quickly. And then she's like the co-lead for the rest of the film. Yeah, I was not charmed. I didn't really care for the music. There are some moments of visual grace, but I have to say, like, given that this is coming from Sony and Netflix the same year as The Mitchells versus the Machines, this is a far lower tier of animated feature than that was.
Yeah, it checks a lot of boxes. You know, it's like they felt that it had to become wacky. And even with this young girl, Gabby, who is singing about her individuality and how she's not like anybody else, there's a generic quality to that outsider-ishness. Like we
Yes.
see that character a lot to such an
her nonconformity is very generic.
It really, which sounds like a paradox, I realize, but it's like it's so true. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, she's not like the others. You know, her song is literally about how she marches to the beat of her own drum.
Yeah, like that song could have been in the Bratz movie, basically. That's how, like, that's what a safe version of Risk this is in this movie. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's fine. You know, I'm sure the caveat is always little kids will love it, but like I hate that as an excuse, because as the adult, you should be showing kids interesting, provocative stuff that's going to engage their imagination and be interesting and inspirational for them. And this is just sort of whatever. But, you know, if you're like a Lin-Manuel Miranda completist, you know, here it is.
It's also a waste of a really tremendous cast. It's Michael Rooker week here at Breakfast All Day, because he's also the voice of this giant menacing snake in the Everglades.
Right.
You have Brian Tyree Henry and Nicole Byer.
Yes.
Like the whole movie just grinds to a halt to let their characters, these very beautifully plumed but awkward birds, fall in love. It becomes a whole different movie in the Everglades, and a far less interesting one. Yeah, and then there's this whole thing with these Girl Scouts. There's a whole like fake scout troop that is chasing Gabby through the Everglades, because part of her not wanting to be like everybody else is that she doesn't want to put on a uniform and sell cookies, and so like they can't just let that go.
Well,
like,
they want to.
Girls I know will be like, screw you. Yeah. We've got enough.
No, they want to take the kinkajou for reasons. It's all. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
It feels, but the lead, the main Girl Scout girl, doesn't she look exactly like Reese Witherspoon?
Yes.
Like she like looks and sounds like a vicious and perky Reese Witherspoon character of yore. Yeah, it just, and then Zoe Saldana as her mom, is Gabby's mom, and she doesn't get to do a whole lot besides just like be worried and chase after her. So I feel like it's a great waste of a whole lot of talent here.
This was directed by Kirk DeMicco, who directed the original The Croods, but also directed Space Chimps. And he's written quite a few other films, including just more TVs. Oh, racing. He did the story for Racing Stripes. Anyway, yeah, he's
like a longtime Sony guy. I was also the script was co-written by Chiara Alegria Hudes, who also co-created In the Heights.
Oh, okay.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Right, and wrote the screenplay.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like as a sweet romance, like as a tale of trying to recapture a long lost love, there's some tenderness to it and some, you know, some sweetness, but the wacky
swamp creatures
with the animals in the swamp is far less interesting. And so I'm giving it a 5. It starts out with great promise and then just loses its way.
I also gave it a 5.
Our number 5, Vivo, is on Netflix. Again, you know, summer is ending, and if you don't have any more camps or places to take your kids in the last waning days before school starts, and you want to plop them in front of the TV, we had a friend and her parents over for dinner recently, and she and Nick sat in front of it, and they watched it, and they were fine. They're like, yeah, it's cute. They're also like 11.
Oh, so they're way too cool for this, of course.
Yes.
All right, so that's that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, follow us at BeFast All Day on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And hey, why not check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Lots of fun stuff going on over there, exclusive to our subscribers, including recaps of Apple TV's Ted Lasso. And we're still taking your votes on August Off the Menu selection. We'll be looking at a classic beach movie with everything from Anya Svarda to Frankie and Annette. Take your pick. But you can only vote if you're a Patreon member. So go to patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. We'll be back next week with more. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.
Bye.